From Robson and Burrard in downtown Vancouver, this is CTV News.
And today we're going to be reporting on tattoos. I'm your host, Johannah Siracusa, and this is my co-host,
Samantha Googoo.
What is a tattoo? A tattoo is a colored mark or figure that is permanently etched into the skin. There are records of people getting tattoos since before recorded history. The oldest record of a tattoo dates about 5,300 years ago, from a mummified man who had multiple tattoos over his body. Tattoo culture has come a long way since our early ancestors marked their bodies. But the reasons people get a tattoo are probably the same: to mark or signify a group or event, or simply to beautify the body. A tattoo machine is used to prick or lightly pierce the skin. The needle is a certain length, so it goes through the upper level, which is the epidermis, down to the lower level, which is the dermis. A commercial needle is either dipped in a separate ink pot or a separate color tube which is used. The process of the machine injecting the ink is done with a very fast repeating injection.
Are tattoos as safe as we think they are? Infections that are theoretically be transmitted by the use of unsterilized tattoo equipment or contaminated ink include surface infections of skin, hepatitis B, hepatitis C, tuberculosis, and HIV. Washington State's OSHA studies have suggested that since the needles used in tattoos are not hollow, in case of a needle stick injury, that amount of fluid transmitted may be smacked enough that HIV would be difficult to transmit. When tattoo instruments come in contact with blood fluids, disease may be transmitted if the instruments are used on more than one person without being sterilized. Reactions to ink are quite possible whereby the skin's immune system encapsulates pigment particles and fibrous tissue. Allergies to latex are supposedly more common than to ink. Many artists will use non-latex gloves when required. Traditional metallic salts are prevalent in tattoos risks that can lead exposures such as being inked to birth defect, cancer, and other reproductive harm. Now, out of curiosity, how much does a tattoo cost in Canada and the United States?
The cost of getting a tattoo varies on the size, colors, and where it's at. It could be between $45 to $600 or more. The way that the artist prices a tattoo is they look at the work involved in it, they look at how long it's going to take, and then put a price all together. Now, this price is only in Canada, nowhere else.
16% of all adults have at least one tattoo. 31% of gay, lesbians, or bisexual people report having tattoos. 36% of those people with tattoos are between 25 to 29 years old. 34% of people with tattoos feel sexier because they are tattooed. 29% of adults with tattoos feel more rebellious. 17% of those with tattoos regret getting them.
Where are some safe places you can get a tattoo in Canada? In Toronto, we have the Pearl Harbor Gift Shop, the Passage Tattoo Parlor, Archive Tattoo Studio, and Seven Crowns Tattoo. Here in Montreal, we have Studio Tattoo Mania located at 1615 the Maisonneuve Boulevard East. We have PSC Tattoo located at 1925 Rue Centre in Pointe Saint Charles. And then we have Pole Tattoo located at 6654 Avenue Papineau. And for the last one, we've got Image Tattoo Studio, address 158 Prince Arthur East. Now, many people just decide to go on a whim and decide that they want to get a tattoo and enter the nearest studio without much information on the studio, without anything, So some people get lucky and come out with a great tattoo and others don't. So here are some tips that can help you and do your tattoo decision. So first you want to take your time looking for a great place. You want to visit several tattoo studios and get information on them. You want to scrutinize the work. And then lastly, you want to talk to your friends about it and see what they think about. The properly equipped tattoo studio biohazards containers for objects that have come into contact with blood or bodily fluids. Shop containers for old needles and an autoclave for sterilizing tools. Proper hygiene requires a body modification artist to wash his or her hands before starting to prepare a stencil for a client. Between clients at any other time where cross-contamination can occur, disposable gloves should be worn at each stage of tattooing. The same gloves should not be used to clean the tattoo station, tattoo the client, or to clean the tattoo itself. Parental consent. It is forbidden to tattoo impaired people with contracting skin condition, those who are pregnant or nursing, incapable of consent due to mental incapacity, or those who are under the influence of alcohol and drugs. Before the tattooing begins, the client is asked to approve the final position of the applied stencil. After approval is given, the artist will open a new stencil needle package in front of the client, and always use a new sterilized disposable instrument and supplies, and fresh ink for each new session.
Can you die from getting a tattoo? Yes, if the artist cuts the skin while shaving the customer, or if the tattoo is tended with someone else's blood, he or she punctures a zit or a scab and doesn't clean it neatly immediately, or if the manufacturer's inks are contaminated, if the customer doesn't follow the rules of the artist after getting the tattoo, they may have an infection. If it turns out that the customer is severely allergic to the ink or needle, then yes, a tattoo individually could get sick and die from getting a tattoo. But if you are far more likely to die from an untreated cold.
Popular shows based on tattoos. Sounds weird, right? Most of the people got that same reaction when we heard about this. Little piece of shit. Popular shows based on tattoos. Sounds weird, right? I mean, you wouldn't normally hear this, but most people got the same reaction when they heard about it. Two of the most popular shows back in the day that ended played on a television network called TLC. They were both basically based on tattooing. We've got Miami Ink, which was an American reality show that follows the events that took place at a tattoo shop in Miami Beach, Florida. The show premiered in July 2005 and finished broadcasting its sixth season in 2008. Every episode ran about 45 to 48 minutes. We mentioned Kat Von D was a series regular on the show from seasons 1 to 4. Basically, each episode featured a number of customers along with their backstories and motivations to get their tattoo. In addition, there was some focus on the personal lives of the artists as well. LA Ink was popular as well, but this time it was Kat Von D's show. The show consists of the advance of High Voltage Tattoo, and then later on the American Electric Tattoo Studio in Los Angeles, California. LA Ink got a rating of 2.9 million total views at its time slot. Lady Gaga actually got tattooed at LA Ink.
Now for the last topic, tattoo removal. Tattoo removal is most commonly performed using lasers that react with the ink in the tattoo and break it down. The broken down ink is that absorbed by the body, mimicking the natural fading that time or sun exposures would create. All tattoo pigments have special light absorption spectra. A tattoo laser must be capable of emitting adequate energy within the given absorption spectrum of the pigment to provide an effective treatment. The side effects of getting this done, about half of the patients treated with Q-switch lasers. For tattoo removal, we'll show some treatment changes in the normal skin pigmentations. These changes usually resolve in 6 to 12 months but may rarely be permanent. With the medical or celebration methods of tattoo removal, the incidence of scarring, pigmentary alternation, and ink retention are extremely high.
Now here is some footage of a 14-year-old tattoo being removed.
Yeah.
Ready?
Not really.
Sweet. Done.
This was CTV News Live. Tune in for tomorrow for more news. I'm your host, Johannah Siracusa, and this is your co-host,
Samantha, Googoo, Meilleur.
Thank you and good night.